Yes, indeed. We meet again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the David Simon Show. You can find it every Wednesday at 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's right. We're going back to school tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I may be a little preoccupied in the beginning. You got to forgive me because I'm trying to work several things to get started. But yes, there has been mention that we are returning. Well, not we. The New York schools will be opening back up, and there are so many things going on with that issue of reopening schools. Bad progress has occurred with the schools that have opened up prior to New York opening up, and we're going to discuss that. Also, we have a double hitter, as they call it in the major leagues. Double hitter tonight. We got Colin Kilkenny set tonight, finally. We're going to have him sit him down. We're going to talk. We're going to go back to school with him and talk about some of the great old days. And we got a young man, up-and-coming rapper out of the West Coast called Peaceful Pender. And he's going to discuss his new album that's coming out. I forget the name of the album. Dialect, can you bring up the name of that album, Peaceful Pender's album, please? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I know the album, but for some reason it slips my mind right now. Hold on. Okay, Pender. He's gonna. Trapeze artist. That is it. A trapeze artist. He's going to discuss some his history, his present, and his future. I heard an interview that the young man did. He sounds very intelligent, so we're going to have a little fun with him. Colin Kilkenny, I done preached his accolades and his contributions to the entertainment business, as well as what he's done for my youth and the good old jolly fun that we had as teenagers. So I don't even need to build him up. It's going to be a great interview. Double hitter. 2 interviews tonight. I've been promising you interviews for the past several weeks. Tonight, I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to deluge you. I'm going to rile you with stories, regale you. It's going to be great. First up, okay, schools in Jerusalem open. Didn't go so well. Schools in the South have reopened. Didn't go so well. According to the spike in the news, the virus is causing the death of people every 80 seconds. A person dies every 80 seconds. So, there's, in the words of Donald Trump, it is what it is. I couldn't believe it. They discussed this with the man that's supposed to be our leader and guiding the country through this tragedy, even though he still only have 4 months left in the office. The man it seemed to have taken off. Only 3 months. Excuse me. November. This is August. Welcome to August, ladies and gentlemen. It's August 5th. Make some noise if it's your birthday. And 3 months left before the election. And we finally rid ourselves of the Trump era. And hopefully, you never know. Biden announced today that he will not be going to the Democratic convention in Milwaukee. Put up the Trump quote, please, because I would like the audience to take that in, because that statement is a statement of someone that is detached from what the scenario actually is. Trump on 1,000 Americans a day dying from COVID. It is what it is, and that right there just says to me he's checked out. Even if he wins in November, and I said last week that the job is no longer sexy to Mr. President Trump. The job is not the ideal position to hold now. You understand? It's really a cleanup job right now, being president. There's so many obstacles. There's so much turmoil going on in the country right now. It's not the sexy job. When Barack had it and had all that going on, he still possessed the ability to make it look like a sexy job. Happy belated birthday to the former president. And now it looks like, it's wearing Trump down. Trump used to be a person of jolly spirit, happy-go-lucky. And all of that is now gone because, the quick wit of Mr. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, is not something you can have right now. Right now, everything is serious. Even the major league, the sports world is serious. The weather is serious. Everything is serious right now. There's nowhere in his daily briefings he can give you a quick whip. And you're looking around like, how could he even introduce the idea, it is what it is, to discuss thousands of Americans dying from this horrible pandemic disease? I dare not use the C word. Neither one of them. You understand? I'm trying to refrain from saying it because we know what it is, and it doesn't make sense for us to continue to browbeat you down with that word because you hear it everywhere. I'm here to entertain you a little bit. I'm here to give you the quick whips. You understand that you can't get from quips from the president like you normally would. You understand? The briefings are now depressing, and they have to be because, like I said, a person dies every 80 seconds. If you don't know what that means since I've started talking to you, at least 5 people, 6 people, 7 people have passed away. You understand what I'm saying? From this devilish virus. And it doesn't look like we're going to come out of it anytime soon. Unfortunately, we're still wearing our mask, still wearing your gloves. I wear 2 pairs of gloves. I was wearing 2 masks. I had to take one off because I was suffocating in the heat in New York here. So, I will go back to 2 masks when the second wave supposedly be coming in September, which will be the time that supposedly de Blasio is going to open the schools up. And you'll see the attire that child was wearing on the cover of New Yorker. It's almost yes, that's a great graphic right there. Teachers returned to Georgia School District last week. 260 employees have already gone home to quarantine. You understand? This is not the time for us to be getting together. Social distancing is still the preferred treatment for this pandemic. We still need to wear gloves, mask, face guards, whatever it is, as well as still distancing from each other. Let's not get lazy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not get lackadaisical where this pandemic and this spike can come back here to New York. New York, for 3 days straight, not a death from COVID-19 announced by the governor, Andrew Cuomo. Okay? That's where we are here in New York. And you know what? He's been strict with us early, but now we've been able to somewhat go out. There's dining outside now here in New York, and there's somewhat getting together, and yet there is no spike here in New York. Thank God. I hate to bring religion to you, but please check us out tonight on HipHopCitizen. You can click the link, join in the conversation. Let's talk, go back and forth. When the guests are here, by all means, if you have a question, join in. I'm not one of these guys that's going to try to keep you out of the conversation or try to monopolize these 2 guys' time and talent for what they are going to bring to us tonight. This is a open door policy is what I have. And right now, this is the only closeness that we should be having on these streams, these Zooms, these StreamYards, these Facebooks, these lives. All of that is the only way we should be getting together at the current state that the country is in here in America. Now, I'm going to give a rest in peace and a condolence out to Beirut, Lebanon. If Diva was here, she would say I wouldn't even know where that is. And she would be right. I couldn't find it on a map, but I know that from the map scenes that I've seen, the aerial map scenes that I've seen, the country is completely devastated in a certain part. It's been completely mutilated from some sort of tons of bomb or explosion. I don't even know how you classify what occurred in Beirut, Lebanon. So you don't come to me with that for that information. In 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, we're gonna have Colin Kilkenny. This is gonna really take off. So if I'm boring you now, hold on to your socks. We're gonna have a great show tonight. Well, that was the opening. Dialect, please bring up the Dr. Dre wife, Nicole Young, slams his prenup claims and says he pressured her to sign and then tore up the agreement. $1 billion split at stake. Well, at least they got the number right. 1 billion sounds correct to me compared to the 800 million. If you've been on Friday Night Lives or you've been a frequent visitor to the David Simon Show, you know that I have said before to that 800 million that they announced prior to the $1 billion claim that was a Andre attempt to hide some bread. 1 billion is more closer to what factual to him having, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't do his books, but let's give him a compliment on his magician technique. I mean, he's David Blaine. He shows her a piece of paper. He has her sign a prenup, and then he tears up a piece of paper. And then all of a sudden, 24 years later, the prenup reappears. Now that's magic. His name shouldn't be Dr. Dre. It should be Houdini. Shout out to the group Houdini. If you know who that is in hip hop, great group. And started out when Dre started out, but they have nowhere near the amount of money that Dr. Dre has. I mean, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Aftermath, Death Row, NWA. My goodness, he's in every decade he reinvented himself. You understand what I'm saying? The 80s he was NWA, the 90s he was Snoop Dogg, the early aughts he was Eminem, the 2010s he was Beats by Dre. The man's been making money for almost 40 years. 1 billion it might be a little light. And so Miss Young thinks that it was cash in time. She thought he loved her so much that the tearing up of the prenup was an actual thing. Ha! We have to see this play out in court, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be interesting to see, because if he actually pulls out a new prenup and says, and with her signature on it, it won't be new. It'll be actually 24 years old, and her signature's on it. It'll be magical, and every man in the world would applaud him, will stand up and applaud him that he was able to pull that trick for 24 years. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, that is the move of the year. I thought Jada Pinkett Smith entanglement was the move of the year. No, Dr. Dre pulling up a supposedly torn up prenup is the move of the year. Okay, that's what it's become, ladies and gentlemen. Marriage has now become some sort of a trickery, some sort of back and forth game. It's I don't know if love is any more involved in it. It's more like life, the game from Parker Brothers, I think. You understand? It's very unique. The techniques that you have to use to convert people and convince them that you love them and that you'll never leave them, and that what each other do for each other is genuine. You understand? I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship. So, this is all, what do you call it? All fantasy to me. And I'm going to sit back. I'm going to watch. I'm not wishing no ill on anyone. If Andre, Dr. Dre feels that this woman deserves $500 million, then by all means, give her $500 million. If a judge decides that she's worthy of $500 million, by all means, give her the $500 million, because it's irreconcilable differences is the claim. Most of the times when there's divorce occurring, there are these claims of abuse, mistreatment, some sort of what is the word? What is the or in divorce court they used to say it all the time: cruel and cruel treatment or some sort. Like it's almost as if you were in a prison. So if she's feeling that that's what has occurred in the marriage during the 24 years that they had together, that she can no longer bear it, then by all means, amicably split the money and go on about your business. But if it's a war and that's what she wants, then Andre's got a major bomb. He's got an A bomb, an atomic bomb in that prenup. If the judge deemed that prenup good, he's going to have a problem. Dialect, is Kilkenny in the green room? Give me a heads up when that occurs, because then we can start this up. Okay, not yet. Okay, no problem. All right, where else are we? So New York experienced some sort of they called it a tropical storm. Oh, that's fine. Bring that up, because this is also major news. In 87 years, the Radio City Christmas Spectacular canceled for the first time. First time in 87 years. Now, before they demolished my Instagram, I had said that, there are institutions that are going to be destroyed by this COVID thing. I bite my tongue. I said the C word. And I've never seen the Radio City Christmas Spectacular close inside Radio City. I've only seen it during the Thanksgiving Day parade and the little special for the tree lighting that occurs. And it always, in my 40 some odd years, it meant something to me as I enjoyed it time and time again. No matter or what traditions or what pastimes it represented, it's always been a good thing to me. Hey, a man like me, I like thighs and legs. Forgive me. You understand? That's my thing. All right. I'm talking chicken here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking chicken. And so now this is not going to be occurring for the first time in 87 years. That's two of my lifetimes. So we're in a new era, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a new era. This is the new norm. And the new norm is gloves or washing your hands, a face mask or a face covering, something to stop the spread of this vicious, unrelenting, unforgiving virus that is occurring right now in the States. And I mean, all over the world it's occurring. The sad part about it is that it's really taking its toll on America. Right now in the West Coast, California, I mean, they showed a graphic that I should have sent the dialect. I'll save it for the Friday Night Live. Please join us Friday Night Live at 11 p.m. this Friday. I don't know who the guest is going to be. I'll announce the guest tomorrow when we do our live broadcast of the versus battle between 2 Chainz and Rick Ross. I'll notify you of the guest that was going to appear. I was actually going to put off Peaceful Pender until tomorrow night and have him be interviewed then after the versus battle. But I think tonight I'll be able to. I have enough time to fit both of the gentlemen in and give a full-fledged interview for both gentlemen. Kilkenny is a very busy man, so I won't hold him hostage here. And Mr. Pender, I barely know him, so the half hour, 45 minutes that we have is going to be full of discussion. So the Christmas Spectacular is canceled. There's rumors that the tree lighting could be canceled as well. It might be broadcast on television, but we don't know. And that is where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen, in this world, especially in America. In New York, like I said, 3 days in a row, not a single death from COVID, and yet we're still canceling things. Thank God we got the sports. I mean, baseball is having its troubles because, people are still together in those clubhouses, together on the field. So you're going to have those issues. The bubble was working well for the hockey league. The bubble's working well for the NBA. I enjoyed NBA basketball the other night. Some of the teams that I've been rooting for. Good evening, Mr. Don Juan. Some of the teams I've been rooting for haven't been winning. So, but it's a chance to watch the game, finish the season, some resemblance of normalcy. That's what it's all about. That's what it represents. I'm getting this all out now because who knows how long the interviews are going to go between the two gentlemen. So let's just knock that out right away. Um, uh, where were we? I don't want to keep going back to the dreary news of the virus situation or the Beirut situation, but there is no good news in the world today, ladies and gentlemen. There's no good news. I mean, there is nothing happening. We're still alive. Those that are listening, that is the best news I can pronounce to you right now. We're still alive. Thank God. You understand that? I mean, it could be worse. I have a little bump on my hand from work today. My first scar from delivering those hot essential meals to the citizens of New York. I scraped my finger or caused a pinch from a gate that I was opening today. And it's bothering me a little bit, so bear with me. And Jules Santana's coming home today. Well, that is news. Jules Santana's coming home today. He actually beat Bobby Shimura. Shimura was rumored to be returning yesterday, which happened to have been his birthday. That would have been the greatest gift ever. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Bridge was shut down last weekend by Tekashi 6ix9ine to record a video. So while these gentlemen are fighting to come home, he's doing videos and making music. I can't tell you what the song was, but here we are. He's still out there, still making music, still making friends. I mean, he needs to write a book on how to influence people and win friends, because I mean, he's incredible that he's able to do that. He's already home, according to Don Juan and Mac, Jules Santana. Congratulations to Jules Santana. I'm happy the man's home, but I'm not checking for Jules Santana's music. Forgive me for that, but maybe it's a Dipset reunion. I would probably listen to that. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I've pretty much moved on from that era. I mean, a throwback time with Cameron, Jim Jones, and Jules Santana would be something to behold. But Jules Santana alone, shout out Def Jam. Well, look, I had intended on doing something already by now, but it seems to be delayed. That's fine. We can move on to what's happening out there. Let's see what's happening out there in the world today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what's happening out there in the world today. I don't want to delude you with all of this information, because then it won't have no show on Friday. Okay. All right. Now, the good news, Timbaland is trying to promote a battle between Sade and my girl Anita Baker. I really, really, really want to see that, because I think that the two of them actually were the icons of the 80s. Now, a lot of people will say Janet Jackson and Whitney Houston were the main divas of that time, but I disagree. I think, lo and behold, that Sade, classic material, and Anita Baker, my goodness, the writing there was awesome. Sade might think it's beneath her, maybe, but I'm telling you, this is the music business move of the year. Swiss Beats and Timbaland actually created a format that is dedicated to rejuvenating careers that may have been forgotten about or slipped a little. The numbers have proven it. The streams have proven that this is not your ordinary get together and regular concert. You may not earn monies before the performance, but after the performance, there is. If you put on a good performance, if you put on a great performance, there is opportunities to be had there for individuals to garner or rejuvenate themselves some sort of way and make a little bread. I think Sade is being dishonest if she doesn't think that this could help her reach an audience or a certain rejuvenation to her career, a reinvention to her career. She may want to go and record again. Maybe the two of them may get together and record. You see, that's the one thing that has not occurred yet. That I thought that the verses would bring, and that is individuals working together after. I would think Babyface and Teddy Riley would have gone in the studio and worked together after their verses, as well as the Premier and RZA, or Jill Scott and Erykah Badu, Snoop Dogg and DMX. I'm waiting for that feature. Those two getting together and barking at each other on a track. Hey, what's up, Micah? And it has not happened yet. So I think that is the next plateau for the versus battle. I think that afterwards, some of these acts need to get together. I mean, the only ones that came close is the 112 and Jagged Edge. They're saying that they have been writing songs for each other and things like that. That maybe if they're going to the studio and two of Jagged Edge and two of 112 get together and make a song. And then don't worry about the split. You can split 3 cents 4 or 5 ways. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you, this is the new thing. The We Are the World in a small collaboration. Get together and make some music after the verses. I mean, of course, Jadakiss and Fabulous, they did their collaboration prior to the verses. So I really have no tree to bark up over there. But all the rest of you guys, Manny Fresh and what's the guy from Roots name? Dialect. Manny Fresh battled who really destroyed him. What's the guy's name? Okay. When Dialect returns, Scott Storch. Thank you. Scott Storch and Manny Fresh need to go and make some beats together. Okay. They originally started it. I mean, yes, Swiss and Timbaland were the first, but the battle that we all recognized in late April was the Scott Storch and I say recognize in jest because I could barely remember Scott Storch's name. Scott Storch and Manny Fresh should make a beat for Snoop Dogg and DMX. Let's go. But that's tomorrow night. Rick Ross, 2 Chainz. I'm sure they're gonna make songs together. They look like they're ready to collaborate and make hit records. And all of the other battles, the Sade and Anita Baker, please make it happen, ladies. You don't have no idea. You would make this fan so happy. This dying fan happy. That's what you would do. That's what occurring. You would give me a make a wish to see the Sade Anita Baker battle, and then they make a song together, like Brandy and Monica. The boy is mine. The fan is mine. The winner of that versus battle will get my undying loyalty until it caused my death. I don't know if you were here Friday night, but I was having complications with my camera, and I was glowing. And tonight I'm not glowing. I'm very appreciative of that. StreamYard made an announcement this week that they've done something with their technology that I will probably bring up on Friday Night Live, because Diva won't be around on Friday night. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but yes, Diva will not be appearing this Friday night. So, somebody's got to dig up the news. So I'm currently, right now, infatuated with what's going on with the news. Unfortunately, it's not going to be as smooth sailing as when Diva presents the news. It's going to be a bumpy ride with me, but you're going to be well informed. That's what I promise you. You will know more after those 2 hours than you did prior to those 2 hours. That's what I guarantee to you. As well as this one. Half hour down, and nothing happening yet, Dialect? Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I gave the wrong code or something. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, it's working. The code is working. So, I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, but we're gonna try. We got Peaceful Pendant happening tonight. That's for sure. We have Peaceful Pendant happening tonight. Hopefully, anything can occur. Anything can happen. Before tonight is over, I'm gonna strip down out of my clothing here, and do the show bare butt naked. Okay. We're gonna have fun tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you this. So, moving on. I get here and I rush home. I shower real quick. I usually clock out about 8 o'clock. So it takes me about 20 minutes to shower. I scarf down something real quick. Tonight's scarf was a slice of pizza, because I don't want to delay anything for the audience. I want to be here for you. Dialect, he be ready at 8 o'clock. He sends the link at 8 o'clock. You understand? And so I'm under duress sometimes, because I be wanting to, take one more delivery to make sure I get just meet a mark. I set a mark for myself every day. And tonight I didn't make my mark because I knew I was going to have the two guests. I was supposedly have the two guests, so I said, no, I won't make my mark tonight. Excuse me, little indigestion, scarfing down pizza. I speak of it, and it comes back. And I rushed home, immediately jumped in the shower. I didn't eat. Tonight's dinner actually happens to be lamb chop and broccoli, okay? And it will be eaten after the program, but right now I'm just living off of a slice of pizza. And I mention this only to show you that the dedication that I have to give you guys this show at 9 o'clock on the dot. I mean, I could come in at 9:10, 9:15, but then that would be disrespectful to what Dialect in his time, because he sets it up early. I received the notice of the link was sent out at 8:22 this evening. So, that man sets up and he's ready to, I sent him a plethora of pictures to post up for when we're here. And he does it, and it's all for free. You can see here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse like I can on the screen, but you can see here that there is a little cash app there that you can donate to the program for the time that is spent creating this entertainment for you. I don't receive any of that. That's for the guys up top, the mainstays of this show, the creators. those individuals are here to make sure that you guys get entertainment all week. There's programs Monday, there's programs Tuesdays, there's programs Wednesday, my program. I'm not sure if there's a Thursday program yet, but there's Friday and there's Sunday. So Thursday and Saturday are the only shows that only days that there is none presented to you by HipHopCitizen. So they are trying their best to carve a niche into this broadcasting, podcasting type of arena, and they're doing a fantastic job. And I commend Don Juan and Dialect for the dedication, as well as Diva and Architect as well. Forget me, I'm just a pimple on their ass because there's nothing going on. Migo Takeoff sued for allegedly raping a woman at a party. Now, the incident does not describe a rape per se, allegedly. It's the way that the woman describes it is there is groping, and there's attempts to seduce with marijuana and things like that. So I wouldn't go as far as to say it was rape. At least that's the details that I got from the article that I read. Now maybe there's more graphic details in another article that describes an actual alleged rape occurring, but I'm not privy to that information. Now, Detroit Pistons offer J. Cole an NBA tryout. You can all read these in the comments. What is my opinion on J. Cole playing basketball? That's fine. For the Pistons, that's even better. You understand? Hopefully, some Knicks can take advantage of him on the defensive end. But I'm not worried about J. Cole scoring 50 or 55 like Michael Jordan. And there is rumor that Dave East would like an opportunity also to play in the NBA. And that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Rap stars, we're reverting back to what was the moneymaker prior to rap. I mean, everybody was shooting hoops. As Biggie Smalls said, you either sling and crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. And hip-hop changed that. I mean, people started picking up microphones, pens, and pads, and they put down the basketball and the football. And hey, it got so bad in basketball that they started to recruit European players because there was more avenues of money earning in the urban community than just basketball. So then the NBA was searching for more players. I mean, Major League Baseball is pretty much dry of African American ball players. I don't know how many, maybe down to 10 to 15% is African American in Major League Baseball. Football is still pretty prominent. It's still pretty dominant in the urban community. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian take family trip in attempt to save their marriage. Okay. I think I gotta be cool with what I say in that situation, you understand? Because, they may save their marriage, and I don't want to be the guy that said that this and that and the third. So I'm going to leave that alone. If Kanye has a prenup, then I understand Kim putting up with some of the headaches that Kanye has created in the last week or so. Because if he didn't have a prenup, I can't see why Kim would stay with the constant back and forth with Kanye West, the accusations, the humiliation in the press. I mean, Kanye was brutal to her mother. I mean, and what shocks me about that situation is if you know anything about Kanye West is that he loves the mother. He loves his mother. So for him to denigrate her mother in the press like he did, I don't know how she could bear it. You know what I mean? So maybe it's not about money. Okay, maybe it's love. Maybe she feels somewhat empathy for him, pity for him. sympathy for him because he is suffering mentally ill. Supposedly, he's been diagnosed bipolar. You know, I wasn't in the room when he was diagnosed. I haven't met his doctor. I'm only going off of what they say is his issue. You know what I'm saying? It is not narcotics. It's not alcohol. It's supposed to be a chemical imbalance in his mental stability. Okay. You say that's what it is. That's what it is. I accept that. So, if that's the reason why they are trying to rescue their marriage, I mean, he has 4 kids with the woman. I mean, biological or unbiological, they're his responsibility as a man. And you would, some women would probably question why would Kim want that instability around their children? Like maybe Kanye needs to be in Wyoming alone. I said I wasn't going to step on that, so I'm going to leave that alone. What else you have for me, Dialect? Because it seems like it's going to be a David Simon show all alone again. Maybe Pender will show up. We'll see. It's 9:41, the 5th of August. The year is going by fast, but that's a good thing. Faster we reach that vaccination, the faster everyone can relax. It's still eerie right now in the culture, our culture, this American culture. It's still eerie. They put out the videotape of George Floyd being arrested, and it's a horrible scene. The whole thing, the whole process. You would think that the man was a some sort of America's Most Wanted, the way that he was treated, and yet, we still got to move on with this society. We still got to keep things in perspective. I mean, the Brianna cries is some saying is falling on deaf ears. I mean, the DJ that made the claims that she was in a trap house, he had to take all that back. And I don't even know his name. I wouldn't even say it if I did. And that was unnecessary. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But I'm getting a sense that people are starting to think that these claims that these protesters were for, these Black Lives Matter demonstrations were for, are not as important or paramount as those demonstrations making them out to be. And that's a shame that an individual's life can be drawn down to just whether or not they resisted arrest or not, and if that's called for, if that's a reason for losing their lives. So there is tension right now in America that is unspeakable, because you don't want to be the one that says the wrong thing that creates the race war. We're trying to avoid it. The civil war, we're trying not to have it. We're trying to have peace. We're trying to have civility, not civil war. People don't believe Oprah Winfrey, a billionaire, has the right to condemn white privilege, including people don't believe Oprah Winfrey is a billionaire, has the right to condemn white privilege, including Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Okay, Oprah, who gave her cover to Brianna. We spoke about that last week on Friday Night Live, if you were with us. And I said that Oprah, being a smart business person that she is, that was a fine move to create revenue during these tough times. I mean, people are still unemployed. Unemployment unemployment insurance is teetering of disappearing, and the government is really dragging their heels on making a decision on giving people. I mean, there's this one article that describes 2 individuals. One is a chef that was supposedly applying for the the payroll insurance so that he keep his business open. And he's in. See, now I'm gonna have to read this article to you because it actually drew my attention to some of the inequalities that are occurring right now in this country, and it saddens me that actually is occurring. So let's see what we have here. Madon, da da dee, da da da, la da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da. Okay, here we go. Chef Jeff Esau of Stratford, Connecticut, wasn't able to get an emergency paycheck protection program loan when he applied through the local branch at a national bank. Okay, article by Jonathan Allen, Washington. For 2 decades, Jeff Esau of Stratford, Connecticut, has been serving up Southern barbecue to the gastronomies of elite hideaways dotting the state's coastline. But economic trends haven't been as kind to Esau, 61, as they have been to his patrons. He had to give up Jeff's Cuisine, his brick and mortar restaurant in a nearby Norwalk, one of the few black-owned businesses in sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I should buy a printer so I can print these articles out. Brick and mortar owned business after one of the few black-owned businesses in the area after the 2008 financial market crisis, and he estimated he lost 80% or more of his overall revenue from his catering business when the coronavirus shut down commerce in the state this year. Esau, an Army veteran, wasn't able to get an emergency paycheck protection program loan when he applied through the local branch of a national bank. He said in a telephone interview, at first he also couldn't get unemployment insurance for himself, and he fell thousands of dollars behind on his home mortgage before negotiating for partial forbearance. He said, I'm out here in a tent by the side of the road trying to make money. He said, I'm like a gypsy. Near the New York state line in Greenwich, however, Peter Bryant's White Birch Farm had no problem getting a taxpayer-backed windfall. The sprawling estate housed one of his family's mansions and a thoroughbred facility for his polo horses. On April 6, Small Business Administration records show the horse farm received a loan of $350,000 to $1 million to support the wages for a staff for about 5 dozen people. 5 weeks later, on May 15th, White Birch Farm borrowed $25.7 million from J.P. Morgan Chase to buy a $47 million estate in Palm Beach, Florida. Now, these are the inequities that we're going to be facing due to the who gets the loan and who doesn't get the loan. And one individual out in New Orleans struggling to survive while the wealthy here in New York is getting as many loans as they would like. Brian, a paper mill magnate who recently sold a Jean-Michel Basquiat painting from his collection for more than $100 million, said the Paycheck Protection Loan designed to help struggling small businesses meet payroll during the pandemic was handled by the limited liability company's chief financial officer, Jack Field, who also signed for the loan on the Palm Beach estate. Under the terms of the SBA program, the federal loan is likely to convert into a taxpayer-funded grant. And even if it doesn't, the interest rate is a plum 1%. 1% off of all of that, almost $60 million transferring hands. 1% of it will go back to the paying back this loan for the taxpayers. Your money, not my money. Your money. I assume that there must have been a very good reason for it became of the COVID situation, Brent said when reached on his cell phone July 17th. I didn't know the amount of the real detail. I didn't know the amount of all the real details of that. I don't have anything to do with that. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. But the man on the side of the road in the tent is trying to make a meal, trying to feed his family, trying to keep his employees paid, unable to do so due to the fact that the government, our government, the president and his cohorts are giving huge amount of loans to already well-to-do individuals. He had a painting that he could have sold and paid off the payrolls for the 5 dozen individuals that's taking care of his horse stables in New York. The article jumped out to me because I felt bad for the individual Esau when I seen him and in his mask, in his chef attire with the hat and everything, and they're saying that that he's just an example of the gap that's we prior to the virus situation, minorities, small business owners, and all those that didn't fall under the guidelines of wealthy individuals were fighting to get equality in pay. Females, everybody was fighting to close the gap. They're predicting that after this virus situation is done, that the gap will be so humongous that it would be another 100 years before you can actually discuss closing it, more or less, it being a reality. I know it don't mean nothing to you. We're all about to check out anyway, right? This doesn't mean anything to you. You understand? Your children don't care. Your children's children won't care. But that's what these experts. So this is what you have to look forward to. You have to look forward to another humongous wage gap or earning or a wealth gap or earning gap that we might have gotten close to closing if the pandemic never arrived, where companies would have started to. I see again before they closed my Instagram. There were opportunities for minimum wages being raised. There was opportunities for people to earn a lot more money than they were earning prior to the minimum wage increase. Okay, and that was supposed to help individuals somewhat close the wealth gap between the wealthy and the poor. You understand? Because the wealthy would be paying the poor more, so they would be losing a little, and the poor would be gaining a little. And it was so scary. Some ideologists was thinking that it would be almost prudent that you get rid of human manual labor and hire robots to do it. This was their idea, that if they're going to lose money before the wealthy lose money, they would rather fire individuals, replace them with automation, and still the poor would be poor and the wealthy would be wealthy. I mean, they would invest in the computers and things like that, the automation, what it would cost them. But in the outlook of putting automation in compared to paying a human being over a course of time, it would pay off. Automation would pay off itself within 5 years compared to say that you give a human being a wage of $17 to $18 an hour. There is no guarantee that human being would ever vacate that position. You understand? They would keep that job until they retire. You're talking almost $20 an hour. That is incredible to some people. You understand what I'm saying? So they thinking that person, that individual they hired let's say hypothetically, they hire a person at the age of 22. The person is earning $17.50 an hour. There's a potential of a wage increase over a period of time. Let's say 3 to 4 years, 5 years, they're going to get another increase. Well, it's 50 cents, so now it's $18. That person is 27 years old. Who is walking away from $18 an hour at 27 if they don't have any real money earning skills? They're not college grads. You understand? They don't have master degrees. Why would they walk away from $18 an hour? And then over a period of time, and the race would increase. So they were looking at automation. There is no raise increase. Automation pays for itself within the 5 years. Even if they have to repair automation or whatever have you, they would also have an opportunity to earn on the repairs, compared to paying insurance on a human life, compared to deal with the paternity leave. I mean, men were getting paternity leave as well as women were getting paternity leave. It was getting ridiculous. This is what happened. The government said, you want paternity leave? Fine, stay home. Everybody stay home. Everybody works from home. There go your paternity leave. Vadu merch partner has terminated his contract after his violent incident with Tahiri on marriage boot camp. Well, does that set Vadu up for a lawsuit with marriage boot camp? I mean, they aired it. They could have easily went dark after he got up and says this is too graphic to be seen. They could have cut it out. Listen. Or call the cops. No. Because then you see, this is what I don't understand about that situation. I'm glad Dialect brought that to my attention, because I pretty much ignored it and put it out of my mind due to the fact that I have been a fan of Tahiri rear end and their talents. Badu, he's another MC. Take him or leave him. But the incident actually named one of her songs. I said her rear end. Come on. I'm not Mr. Fan. That's right. I'm a fan. Okay. I admitted what it was. Come on now. You trying to play me? So now, she threw the apples. Or whatever the fruit was. I don't even know if it was real or not or whatever. She threw it, and technically he had a claim that she should keep her hands to herself, and that's the reason why he retaliated with violence. But no. I don't think it was that serious, her throwing the fruit, and whatever spurred her on to throw it was the original sin. You understand? Now, we don't know what occurred prior to that, because I don't know what occurred prior to that, because I've only seen just the apple throwing and him getting up and trying to choke her because of what she said. Now, that's what we've seen on camera. We don't know what was going on prior to what we've seen on camera. And I don't know if she didn't spark that situation to show his inability to control himself or keep his hands to himself. Adam and Eve and the apple, that's deep. Well, that is deeper than that, because it seemed like it was a cry for help. It was an attempt to, if the therapist or whatever wasn't able to understand what she was trying to convey in prior sessions, but she was probably trying to convince that person that this guy might need a little more therapy than just, calm down or talking to. He might need to be really restrained for some reason. And that's what occurred when he erupted on the show. Was it a bad look? Absolutely. For both of them, because it made it seem like she was an antagonizer, and it made it seem like he's easily antagonized. So, they're definitely all in water, but I'm not here to discuss their relationship uh, beyond what I seen on the show. Pizza still getting me. Beyond what I seen on the show, or I seen in commercials in the advertisement. I don't think marriage is what they're heading for. You understand what I'm saying? And according to what they've been bickering back and forth in the press as this week, I don't think that they were still in a relationship. So it's a sad event. But we've seen couples fight on these reality shows all the time, and that's the thing. Why go on a reality show if you're unable to be civil at home? You understand what I'm saying? Don't go on a show and display the brutality that's occurring in a relationship on the female side or on the male side. Because as much as I minimize the apple throwing, it was still an assault. And I can't excuse Tahiri because of her beauty for her, vagrant behavior. But that doesn't excuse Vado in any way for what he did. That was uncalled for and poorly done on his part. He's an artist, so there are some people out there that does enjoy his music. You understand? It's not like he's a nobody. People recognize him for his gifts and talents. I'm not gonna insult the man and say, he doesn't possess those things because I don't appreciate him. I'm sure there are people out there that does. And for him to put himself in a display of poor behavior, it wasn't a good look. And in consequences, he's lost a partnership, a merch partnership. I don't even know who the merchandise was with or what have you. But you get on these TV shows and you think that you're gonna up your credibility. You're gonna elevate. You're gonna somehow become more than you were prior to being on the show, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, you actually destroying your character. That's what I do here every Wednesday night and every Friday night. I come on here and I have an idea of how I'm going to become better at broadcasting, and yet I learn more of my limitations after I re-listen to these shows. You know what I mean? I think back to saying, what am I doing? I don't have no reason to be wasting these people 2 hours every Friday and every Wednesday night. You understand? So I say you understand a lot because I don't understand myself sometimes. And that's my failure in broadcasting right there. My inability to be a complete broadcaster in sentence structure, punctuation, things like that. I'm all over the place. I run on sentences. My speaking is as atrocious as my writing. But yet I don't have any endorsements to lose. Everything's up from here for me. See, that's what people don't realize, that it's all uphill for me, and it could be all downhill for others. Don't think because you're on top now, you'll be on top forever. One incident can ruin your entire character or can ruin your persona. And in the business of entertainment, you could be ruined forever. There are people that disappear forever. You say where they have the next time you see them after the incident is where are they now? Or if they were popular as a say a Bill Cosby, for instance, the next time you see them is a BET memorandum. I didn't say that right. Memorandum. No, I didn't say it again. A memoriam. I know I didn't say that right. And that's the next time you see him, then that's the way it goes. You could be on top, and the only way to go is to the bottom, down. And you can be down, and the only way is up. I can't go no further down than I'm already in. So I have nothing to lose up here. Missing like Sergeant Slaughter. Yes, that's right. DJ Alchemy. I don't know how to spell it. I don't even know how to say his name. is offended that Meek Mill thinks he could cancel him, calling the rapper unimportant and challenging him to a fight. Academics, I believe that's his name, and that's a clothing line. I don't even know how he got away with using that as a DJ name. Okay, DJ Academic. I forget what he did to get himself thrown off of whatever podcast or whatever broadcast he had. He actually already been canceled. Meek Mills is just adding a cherry on top of him already being canceled. He's trying to rejuvenate himself, Mr. Academic, DJ Academic, with hanging out with. He called John Legend wife a B. That's right. And you want to know something? I'll tell you how funny life is and how karma works in this crazy business. If DJ Academic would have waited to after John Legend's wife, I forget her name right now, would have, what is her name? Dialect. If he would have waited a couple of weeks before he went into disrespecting her, and to after she Chrissy Teigen, thank you. If Academic would have waited to after Chrissy Teigen insulted Meg Thee Stallion in her little situation, he might have got away with that. That's how funny life is. But he made her a victim before she was deserving of being humiliated. Excuse me. Pizza talking. So, that's how funny life is. It's all about timing. You got to wait to insult somebody when they're worthy of being insulted. You don't insult somebody prior to them being deserving of the humiliation. So Academic right now, if Teigen wouldn't have insulted Meg Thee Stallion and called Academic a B, everybody would probably be cheering Teigen on, but right now everybody's giving Teigen the side eye because she went after Meg Thee Stallion. And the female after female situation, it's not the same. You see, women are coming together. You understand? They are learning how to work together, and they're supportive of each other. They do these little challenges, these black and white photo challenges and things like that. All of these dance challenges, these women are coming together. They are bonding. So if a woman attack another woman, she's going to be ostracized and tarred and feathered by the other women. You understand? See, men, we are pitted against each other all the time for jobs, for automobiles, or for everything's a competition with men. Everything. And if your man is not in the competition, the women don't want him. If he's not able to compete, women don't want him. You understand? But then you get these women together and they all want to be together. They're one force. Who are they going against? Men. So, shout out Al Bundy for the Women Haters Club. Men have to come together. We have to find some peace in the tribe because these ladies have gotten it together. It's not a competition with them no more. It used to be. Jealousy used to be a woman trait. Now you find it more in men. At least that's what the studies are saying. Are you reading the studies? The studies are saying men are more jealous than women are now. And to counter that, women are more sexually aroused than men are now. Go figure. It's all turned around. I don't know what has happened, but the world's been flipped upside down. I don't know if it was 2020. This has been going on long before 2020. You can't blame 2020 for everything. Everybody want to blame 2020 for everything. I'm being evicted, 2020. My car is old, 2020. I lost my job, 2020. These things have been in people are using the COVID for reasons, for events that were building up in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2010. 2009. People have now taken, like I said, timing. People are now taking the opportunities that's been presented during this pandemic to succeed in some of the things that I've suggested tonight. Unemployment, automation, women coming together, men more separated. And we're going to all blame 2020 because we're now noticing we're all home and we have time to think and notice things. And we're saying to ourselves, hey, look at this. This is what it is. So my suggestion to DJ Academics, when he's talking about he's going to call the police because he feels threatened by Meek Mills, don't put yourself in a position where you insult women, and then when a man comes after you, you want to call the authorities. Don't do that, because it's a slippery slope, my friend, and you may not return back to this glory days of media recognition, because the streets still count. The streets are the one that decides whether or not you're worthy of the name that you achieve when you're doing your broadcasting and your podcasting. These are the people that watch you. These are the people that talk about you. These are the people that big you up in a Flatbush terminology. You understand? And then you're breaking codes. You're hanging out with Tekashi 6ix9ine. You're talking about you're calling the police. You're calling women B's. You're creating a character or a persona that is unacceptable in the code of the streets. I'm just saying, don't worry about me. No one's paying attention to me. I have no viewers. I have no listeners. This is the people that's on Facebook mute whatever I'm saying. You understand? I broadcast. They don't care. Okay, so don't worry about me. I'm just telling you what I think. Chrissy Teigen may survive her insults to Meg Thee Stallion. Eventually, she'll apologize. Eventually, those women will get together and take a picture together, and everybody, all the women will forgive them. Oh, they're nice again. They get together again, and it'll be all forgotten. That can't happen with men. You're gonna have to fight Meek Mills or something, my friend. You understand? You're gonna have to prove your masculinity, and that's the downfall of men. An apology won't be enough. You have to scrap in the street. You have to put your hands up. You've insulted the man's character. You insulted the man's spirit. You insulted the man, period. And that's enough to, and you threaten to call the authorities. Jonathan Isaac was the only one in he was only in his second game back from a knee injury. Okay, Jonathan Isaac, if you're not familiar with him, moving on from academics, we're going to talk about Jonathan Isaac. I appreciate this dialect. You have no idea. I had my mind set on one thing, and you're rescuing me. I appreciate that. Shout out to Dialect 718, who, if you haven't known, I've given permission to interrupt anytime there's breaking news, so that we can do it right. Now, Jonathan Isaac is an Orlando Magic player, and he was the only individual that stood during the opening of the NBA season, the reopening of the NBA season, for the national anthem. He stood, he didn't kneel while the rest of his teammates kneel, and he was ostracized. He was singled out, and the thing about it, the singling out was by two parties. One party that supports the Black Lives Movement and what the NBA is trying to say, and allowing their NBA players to kneel, that civil disobedience is the way to go, rather than violence or rioting or not playing, opting out, as some players have done, opt out of playing the remainder of the season in support of Black Lives Matter. So the other players that chose to play have kneeled during the national anthem to show their civil disobedience and to show their support for the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, Jonathan Isaac chose not to. he chose that he felt that him standing would have been is the preferred uh, way of saluting the flag or representing America or showing support for America. And, and now I'm not saying that he did that in sort of a calculated move against or counter against the Black Lives Matter movement. He hasn't said that that was the reason why he did it, so I can't stipulate that that was the reason why he did it. But it just so happened that after he chose not to kneel, he tears his knee ligaments. I'm not sure if it was in an ACL or what it was, but he actually hurt himself and put his next season in jeopardy, because who knows when that's going to start? Who knows if there's going to be another season? Who knows if anything? If the NBA continues after this championship thing is done, until there is a inoculant, a vaccine for this virus, because how many bubbles you think they're going to have? You think they can start an NBA season in a bubble? Au contraire, mon frère. They will not have a bubble to start the season. Believe that when I tell you. The NHL and the NBA will not be starting seasons in the bubble. They will be canceling the season. The only reason why they finished the season, because they already had investments. TV was on, money was online. NBA players' monies was in limbo. A lot of stuff, NHL money was in limbo. A lot of things was in limbo compared to if the season was to start. See, that's why they didn't think the baseball season should have started, because even with 60 games, there were still questions of who should get paid, who should earn this money, who shouldn't earn this amount of money. Really, no big deal if they cancel the entire season. But TV revenue was in limbo. Radio revenue was in limbo. So they said, let's give them 60 games. Because let me tell you a secret. I pay in cable for local sports. And the only sports I was receiving from from March 13th to when Major League Baseball opened up last month, middle of last month, was reruns, old games, all that. And I was paying the same amount that I would be paying for live events. You understand? So there was some discrepancy there. People wanted to be reimbursed for the games for the cable that they were paying for, that they weren't receiving live games. So before you go through where the cable give back money, which is unheard of, even when you prove them wrong in their billing practice, they only give you free channels. They don't give you no money back. This is not a money back situation. So if I catch them and say to them, hey, I'm getting these old games that I've already seen, they would just give me Showtime. They would give me the movie channel. Now, I don't have time to watch these events, these television programs. I got to go up there and earn to pay the cable bill. It's a vicious circle. So Jonathan Isaac, back to him. He goes down. He tears his leg. There's no chance. There's no guarantees that he'll have an opportunity to play again. And then there's the people on the sideline, the ones that supported him for not standing. They saying, oh, it's awful for you guys that say he didn't kneel for his ancestors that's been dying and being punished and mistreated in under the flag of America, the old liberty and old glory, and now you're wrong for saying, oh, he should have kneeled, he wouldn't be in the situation that he in. It's all about civility, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he had a tragic incident occurred in his life because who knows if he ever play again. Who knows if he would have kneeled, he wouldn't have had that unfortunate accident. You don't know. And for those that support him not kneeling, and those support him saying that he had the right to make the choice not to kneel, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And those that are denigrating his name or are crapping on his NBA career because he didn't kneel, you're wrong. Because everybody has a free choice. If anything we're kneeling for is the right to be free from persecution, right to be free from accusations, unfounded accusations, right to be free from being all around disrespected because of a choice that we make. We the only choices that we have in this situation is the civil disobedience. When Isaac didn't ask to be born black. He didn't ask to be a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. He has his own destiny to live. And I may talk more of that later, but right now we're lucky to be fortunate to have Peaceful Pendant in the green room. Bring him in, Dialect, please.
Hey.
Hello, Mr. Pender. How are you?
What's going on, David? I'm fantastic, man. Peace to you.
Thank you very much. Likewise. You're in Seattle now?
Yes, sir. Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. You a surfer?
I'm not a surfer. We're big into like hikes, coffee, maybe some smoked salmon.
Very nice. So you're a fisherman?
Yeah, we fish a little bit up here. We really enjoy the outdoors. I mean, there's not a 10, 15-minute drive you can't take to some woody tree area or some big, beautiful lake. So lots of hikes, lots of outdoor adventures.
Very nice. How old are you, sir?
26. Just turned 26 this summer.
Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. The only research I was able to gather on you was pretty much an interview that you did with the Bystander podcast.
Uh-huh.
And so a lot of that is going to be a continuation of what's going on, that went on in that podcast. Forgive me for piffering. I forget the gentleman name that the host of the show.
Timothy Self. Good
Timothy
dude.
Self did. He did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
So did you. Let me ask you, you stipulated in that interview that you come from somewhat of a broken home?
Mm-hmm.
Or were you adopted or?
Not adopted. So yeah, in the stipulations that I made, so my mother was incarcerated about every 18 months as I was growing up. She's an alcoholic. You know, we've done the rehab, all of that stuff. It's never really stuck. She also is the little bit of cocaine and smoking crack issue. There's crack cocaine that was made in my house growing up. We lived off 128 in Everett, in Washington. It's a bad area, just ghetto, not good. So I grew up with my mom's side of the family, the Caucasian side of the family. One of my mom's sisters, my auntie, had a boyfriend who brought a lot of that stuff in and, had a trap house. So there's a lot of adversity in terms of just like fiends coming in and out in the middle of the night, things like that, because we're always around the noise and the nonsense.
So let me ask you, did this gentleman do any time for his unsavory acts?
Yeah, he's done some time on the yard for sure. Very tied up along the West Coast with people who make things happen, I would say.
Can you be a little more specific? I'm sorry.
I mean, you've seen Narcos, you've seen shows.
Okay. So
I still don't speak on any of that stuff. I mean, I'm very general. I mean, I'll say stuff in my music, but if people were to follow up, I live by a certain code. I don't speak on that shit.
I respect that. I understand. I figured since you were open with the Mr. Self that you would be remaining open with me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's just certain things that like in terms of the people he is associated with, I don't want to name names or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, basically, my uncle, my auntie's boyfriend, was responsible for bringing a lot of this crack cocaine into the house, creating a trap house environment. And I mean,
Do
you
you
can
blame
look.
him for turning your turning any of your members of your family onto this?
No, people make individual choices.
Okay, okay. And how old were you when this was occurring?
I got taken away by the courts mandated when I was 11 years old. So, you know, I think the last of my cousins that was really in that environment left when they were 16, a couple years later. So, I mean, pretty much everyone got taken away by CPS and that type of stuff. Like, I can't make that type of stuff up. You know what I mean? People want to check me or say whatever shit looks sweet, blah, blah, blah. And when you went to high school, you went to a better area. I'm like, yeah, I went to go live with my dad. Things got better for me. But you can go look at a lot of different stuff. All my family members, especially my cousins, had to deal with some kind of legal issue. CPS was just always there.
Is your family clean now?
No, there's still a lot of issues. I mean, as a lot of us grow into young adults, there's a lot of rifts and old uh, wounds that needed to be healed. Um, my relationship with my family is unique. I love them from afar. They love me from afar. It is what it is. It's mutual respect, but we just don't align in each other's lives at this point in time. I'm very optimistic. They're kind of pessimistic.
Interesting. Excuse me. So, how about your music career? Are they supportive of it?
It's mixed reviews. For I didn't talk to my dad since I was 16. I left my dad's house when I was 16 because of CPS and things with my stepmother. Actually, nothing with my dad specifically. He was just allowing it to happen. He
So
he
you were
supports he supports my music career these days. It's a mixed bag from my mom's side. There's a lot of hate and just confused love is how I like to look at it, but um, I don't really look for validation from anybody, let alone my family, in terms of creating art.
so you when you were retrieved by CPS, you were given to your father custody to your father.
Yeah, so there's a period of about 10 days, 10 to 14 days when I was 11. I was at a basketball tournament in Eastern Washington, uh, which has a little bit looser regulations. And my mother got 3 DUIs within the span of 10 to 14 days, which led the courts to mandate me to go live with my dad. This happened all the time. It was just a long. It was compounded. It was a lot of events leading up to it that kind of pushed it to the brink.
What spurred you on to become a rapper or an MC?
I wrote poetry when I was young, but more than anything, music was an outlet that got me through a lot of different things. Whether it was just getting in the gym because I was big on hooping, or whether it was just getting through a certain type of mood. Um, I looked up to so many different musicians, especially rappers, in the way that they told their story and observed their surroundings and their communities, and they were able to put that poetically over instrumentals. I was inspired to do the same. I mean, there's no real way to deal with that kind of thing if you don't have anyone to talk to in your immediate environment. You don't want to take that to public workers if you don't grow up that way, or even teachers or coaches. So the best way to do it is to express yourself creatively, in my opinion.
No, I get that definitely. So let me ask you this: do you think that music? What's most important? Is it the lyrics or is the music? That I mean, the instrumentation that makes music.
I will always think it is a combination of both, but I will always think that of the vocals and the lyrics. At the end of the day, if you look up performance rights and who owns the creative copyrights for any publishing, it's the lyrics and the melody of the voice composition. So I will always think that the vocals and the lyrics carry a track. That's what resonates with people. the instrumentation can amplify that and bring out more emotive feelings, but it's always the story that's being weaved that makes us feel a type of way.
Have you written a song that made you cry?
Make America Great Again.
That song has brought a tear to your eye.
Absolutely. I really meant it when I wrote it, and I was hurt by the things that I was seeing and hurt as a biracial young adult in America at the time. That was 2018 when I wrote that song. Just a lot of confusion and a call to action for us to love each other more. I still sometimes I cry when I hear that song, just the intro, because I meant it so much when I said like it's not about like your race, like color, creed, sexual orientation, however you want to label people. There's one race, it's the human race, and I truly believe that.
So this was prior to the pandemic. So what was great about America prior to 2018?
So it's like it was like Make America Great Again at the time was like Kanye was wearing the hat. It was a very like controversial just saying, right, in concept. And I wanted to take something that had become dark, which has the words great again, right? It has this negative connotation when you hear it, and make it. I was inspired by Mark Twain. I read a lot of Mark Twain growing up, so I like satire. I like satirical rap. There's a lot of artists who do that too. Um, so that was a big part of it. I just wanted to poke fun, even in the title, at this whole concept of making America great again, and based off of economics or industrialism. When truly, like making it great again would be if we came together as people. We focus more on the treating each other right first and foremost, and then business and the economic part would tend to fall in line.
So you think there is a common ground between civility and commerce?
I think that commerce can be done in a civil way. I spent 3.5 years at a private wealth management firm. I've seen the ruthless techniques that it takes in order to drive up numbers and be a logical, rational decision maker. I understand that has its place in a free market. I think that technology advancements have put us in a place where the whole idea of economics and the idea of scarcity isn't very valid. So, do I think civility and commerce can live coexist peacefully? Yeah, but humans have a long ways to go in ascension of consciousness to get there.
Yeah, I I uh, I don't know if you can see the comments on the screen here. Um, my producer said that you're a very smart man, and I was telling him when I heard the interview with Mr. Self and the bystanders that you came across very intelligent and put together. Now, how were you able to establish that in the environment that you grew up in?
Man, I was addicted to hero's journey type stories. So I coach youth basketball. I tell the kids all the time, even if you're in a cushy environment, to read about people, whether it's autobiographies, which I was really into, biographies that have overcome adversity, that have amazing life stories. Read fiction books. I mean, I'm not afraid to say, like, I was super into Harry Potter or anything with a dragon, anything where the main story, the protagonist has a hero's journey and, comes from a trailer park, comes from nothing. Like, Eminem resonated with me because of my white family and them being kind of like definition of trailer trash and really rough people and bad environment that they created. But I also really resonated with like Nas, the weekends I'd spend with my dad and the things that we'd go do and the culture that I was exposed to and growing up in a hip hop basketball culture, right? Like even being around my uncle all the time, even though he wasn't really my uncle, like those types of things. I think it was just being drawn to books, being drawn to people that were inspirational to me. I mean, even someone like Allen Iverson. I can't tell you how many times I read his autobiography. That dude's an incredible human being. So I know a lot of people's stories like the back of my hand, and I kept them at the forefront of my mind, and I just kept believing.
That you too can overcome whatever trials that you were facing.
Yeah, like, I mean, I would watch Aladdin when I was little over and over and over again because I just believed that a street rat could become a prince. And that, I think that's God. I believe in God. I believe in divinity. I believe in the Holy Spirit. People can say whatever they want. That's my personal experience, and I don't push people's religious experience on anybody. But there's a lot of Jesus in my life, even as a young child, that I have no explanation for, and just following intuition and trying to stay the right course and lead a life of love and light.
No therapy?
Yeah. Yeah. No therapy professionally. I've read The Body Keeps the Score. I've read many trauma books. I've read a lot about codependency. I've read a lot about the self-fulfilling chaos that can be created if you come from traumatic experiences. Read a lot about PTSD, have been clinically diagnosed with that and done things to work around that. I have an emotional support animal, a wonderful puppy. I actually am getting another dog. I have a Tibetan spaniel, so they used to hang out with monks in monasteries. They're Chinese royalty dogs. So it's very intentional in the way that I live my life to continue to heal and things like that. I think at one point professional help will be an important step. It's one day at a time.
Now, one of the questions from my producer is, why did you choose the name Peaceful Pendant?
Cause growing up, like I wasn't well put together consistently. I would be in front of strangers, so I wouldn't be a burden, and they would take me to the basketball practice or let me stay the night or anything I could do to be away from home. But I was explosive. I was explosive at school. I was bullied at home, so I bullied other people, even though I was really small, and that might have been a part of it because I didn't grow till late. So I was angry. I was a very violent kid. I started a lot of fights. I was good at fighting. I grew up in the streets. So it wasn't like when I moved to the suburbs with my dad, especially, I started to rebel. I chose the name Peaceful because as I became a young adult, my friends would describe me as positive, inspirational, peaceful, healing conversation. And I think I was very intentional when after I was on my own after 16 years old in curating a life of, okay, I've had chaos. I've chosen to just do my best to get out of it, but I've also got a lot of darkness that I've never addressed and just shoved it deep down to push through. And when I got to 16, it just kind of started overflowing. I started smoking weed. I had no supervision. I left my dad's house because of CPS and everything that was going on. I didn't want to go into foster care. I went and lived with my best friend. I knew about foster care. I knew about the social system. I knew what you get exposed to. So I was pissed off. I was bitter, mad that my mom and dad rejected me and that they didn't really want me as a child, that they chose drugs or other things over me. I didn't understand it. So I
Are
wanted
you
to be peaceful.
are you in contact with your mother and father?
Uh, I talked to my dad very briefly. We just started talking this last Father's Day. It had been 8 years since I last talked to my dad. I talked to my mom very briefly as well. Not as much communication. She did another 2 year sentence, 2017 to 2019, and I just supported and I took care of my mom and sister for a long time. When my sister was in high school, she's now at the University of Washington. She's doing fine. So once my sister was 18, I took a step back from being as communicative with my mom just because it's really unhealthy for me. She's a toxic person. But trust me, on everything, I'll say it right here and I'll say it a lot in interviews. I love my mom, but people don't understand what it's like when you get CAT scans from about your own mom's brain. It's the doctor's telling you it's the brain of a 6-year-old because of the holes from alcohol and cocaine and crack abuse, methadone, pills, antidepressants, and drinking. I mean, and me and my sister can't explain to you what that's like unless you lived it. You know what I mean? It's hard to love
Absolutely.
someone. It's hard to love someone like that, but they never stop being your mom.
Are people shocked when you describe your childhood that it was the Caucasian side of your family that was dealing crack and not and the black side of your family suburban?
I think it's assumed. My dad was drafted at 17 to the San Francisco Giants as a baseball pitcher in the '92 draft, same year as Jeter. He could have gone anywhere in the country as a D1 athlete. We're from Virginia, D.C., my black side of the family. I don't see any of them. My dad moved to Arizona for fall league. met my mom, had me when I was 19, and ended up in Washington. You know, I fly back home to DC to see any of that family, and I think people are shocked. You know, it's low income communities where you're exposed to it. Doesn't matter the color of your skin. I'm also been considered the N word and African American, however you want to explain it, by society. So I identify as that because that's what people cross the street when they see me. I have braids. I've had tons of incidents in my city here with the Kirkland PD. I'm cool with the chief like that because of what's happened. So trust me, like I don't not believe in systemic oppression and that there's not a genocide on the African American community and the African American male specifically. It's not targeted, that the marketing and there's so many things behind it. It's subconscious warfare. It's set up, but at the same time, there's a lot of commonalities between just low income communities, drug exposure, poverty, and the type of things environment that you grow up in. And I know that because I know a lot of Hispanic kids, I know a lot of white kids, I know a lot of Asian kids, I know Indian kids. Like Nav grew up in the Rex in Toronto. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's the same experience. It's the same things you're exposed to if you're in Section 8. But yes, that let me be clear. That does not mean that as African Americans, you do not face extra adversity and further obstacles. And just like I say, police brutality is a problem for everybody. It is an extra problem for those of color, for African Americans. Let me be very, very clear about that. I don't want that to be misunderstood or assumed.
Let's. Do you kneel for the national anthem?
I mean, I have this conversation with my my white kids here in Kirkland that I coach. I coach, you know, a Lake Washington Selects is a primarily white and Asian school, and then I also coach kids in Seattle that are inner city AAU kids that are much more talented, much tougher. The conversation is different. One community understands. They have the conversation at home with their parents. It's directly related to and impacts their lives. The other community is curious. They're youth. They only have love in their hearts. They want to understand. They're not exposed to it. They don't know. They only know what they know. But they genuinely want to understand and they want to love, especially based off what they see on social media and the internet, because these kids are on Instagram and TikTok.
Right, right. But you personally, would you kneel for the national anthem?
Yeah. I don't think that patriotism is a healthy form of living your life as a human being, and then also collectively as societies, whether we want to identify as countries or regions. The patriotism to a flag is not a healthy thing. That is an outdated paradigm and belief and needs to stop because it is division based. My flag versus your flag. No, no, no. I respect and I love your culture and heritage, but at this point everyone is so mingled. You cannot say, oh, very rarely in America can you say, unless you're an immigrant, like this is like who I am. You know what I'm saying? So how can I not kneel for oppression against what this country was founded on, which is us being together, other people from across the world coming to a place where there's opportunity and they have a equal slate to live a life of liberty and the pursuit of happiness and everything that's written into it. I think that that's the common denominator. Yes, I kneel.
Are you
Absolutely.
are you a globalist?
I wouldn't consider myself a globalist. I think globalization is good and bad.
A question from the HipHopCitizen producer Dialect 718. Who are your hip hop inspirations?
Off top, I'll always say like Nas, Big L, Jay-Z, um, Tribe Called Quest, Rakim, like Wu-Tang Clan. That's what I grew up listening to. That's what I was drawn to. My family's listening to country. My uncle's listening to this. I'm like, okay, that slaps. A DMX. I listen to a lot of DMX. I don't know why people don't. They sleep on DMX when he was coming out in his prime. He came with so much energy in bars, and I'll still listen to D. Nowadays, and then what if I would say like new school rappers, because a lot of people wouldn't name that. I would say that like that was a generation. I was listening on like my Walkman. I was listening on cassette tapes because I was born in '94. Like I'm still kind of like early '90s, right? And then I say it was like The Game, some 50 Cent, some Pharrell, the Clips I was super into. I listened to Bad Boys a lot. I like Mace,
Okay.
and then it became like I listen to a lot of East Coast rap, and then nowadays I really like Joey Badass. I really like J. Cole. I was super inspired by Logic just because he has a very very similar story. Shout out Bob, shout out Bobby, good dude, and yeah, I think nowadays like Russ inspires me just the way he goes about his business. But I've always been drawn to that more conscious lane, even that if that's not always what I'm creating, I've been drawn to that.
Okay. Now, no Macklemore.
Um, I'm from Seattle, but people in my high school, even like when I was freshman, sophomore, they were going to Macklemore concerts before he was big, and they were telling me this guy's really good. This guy's really good. He just makes good music. I like it. It's not for me. I don't know.
Were you in the grunge scene?
I wasn't. I like not like I could say I really listened to him.
Okay. What is a trapeze artist? Another
Trapeze artist
question
is,
from dialect.
yeah, it's a play on the word trapeze artist, like the acrobatics. So it's like my life was kind of a circus growing up. It felt like I was balancing. I was really, I'm a 4.0 student, even through college, AP, all that stuff, like kind of nerdy, you know what I mean? Like really wanted to educate myself, knowing that I needed to either get a hoop scholarship or academic if I want to like, get out, at least as a kid, that's how you think. And it was a play on just like balancing that. Trapeze artist is growing up in a trap house, wanting to be peaceful, expressing myself creatively, and balancing that tightrope and doing the acrobatics that come along with anybody who's dealing with the adversity on life's journey.
Are you appreciated by? Well, I know you said you don't care for accolades, but are you appreciated by your neighborhood, your community, your state?
Hey, I'll take the accolades. I said I don't need validation from
Validation.
anybody.
Right, right. My apologies. You're absolutely
That's self love. That's self love 101 for everybody. And I hope it doesn't come off as arrogant or cocky and even at any point. But that's confidence to me. It's just loving yourself. I
So,
don't know.
when was the last time you performed?
I don't know how to answer that because the last time I performed was before this whole COVID thing last fall. I would say that like there's pockets of Seattle's community that likes me. The creatives and the other artists, I feel like really don't vibe with me as much as they click up and vibe with other people. Seattle's a weird city. Like there's a lot of ego in terms of the creatives and artists and videographers. But then of course I have like my circle of 10 to 15 people that like, we stand for the same things and really enjoy each other. The unfortunate thing is, in my opinion, I think there's so many talented people in Seattle. It's just like I've tried to do collabs with a lot of these people and it's always fallen through. So I don't know how people feel about me. I feel like the fans' response is really good. Like it's one of my top cities on Spotify, top 5. I've done multiple shows. I could probably sell out a 100 to 150 person venue by myself. I meet and see a lot of my fans here locally, or make sure to get them, some sock gifts or whatever I'm getting plugged with from local companies. So, you know, it, I would say it's okay. It's iffy. Seattle's a strange town. It's not like LA, Atlanta, New York, Chicago.
I appreciate your honesty. A lot of people would brag that they're beloved by the communities, but you're saying that you're breaking it down demographically, and I appreciate that. That's tremendous. Now let me ask you this: are you up for a game of trivia?
Yeah, and to any other artist, I gotta say you gotta earn that too. So I still look at myself. I gotta earn that. I gotta earn that respect from my community.
You done any music with Nav? I heard you mention Nav.
No, I was thinking like a brown boy from the Rex type thing. Like he's not he's Indian, but he's been through it, and he grew up in a lot of the similar environments, similar things he was exposed to. I'm definitely down for some trivia though. What you got?
Well, you said you got a 4.0 in academics, so I was just wondering what would be best for you. Science trivia, sports trivia. What's your thing?
I wanted to be the next Stuart Scott when I was real little. So sports trivia, yeah. Let's get some
Sports
sports
trivia.
trivia.
Okay, fantastic. Where's that echo coming from?
I don't know. Can you still hear it?
Yes, yes, I can hear you fine. Okay. And what is your favorite sport, my friend?
Probably basketball.
Excellent. 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 I appreciate you partaking in this.
Of
Now
course.
you said that you're 26. Is there an age where you would say you would put this rap thing on the back burner and become a philosopher?
I think I have the 25-year plan in terms of like how I would want to transition out of music. Um, I think that you, as a rapper, as an artist, you really have a hot window of about 5 to 7 years if you do it right and you put out really good projects. And then if you're timeless and classical during that, you can extend that window and drop occasionally. But I think, I'm not looking to rap past like 34 to 35 in terms of like actually doing shows and being consistent with it. I see myself even transitioning out of it at like 32, 33. I know what I have planned for the next 5 years, 26 to 31. Enjoy it at the peak for a couple years and bow out on a good note like my good mentor Logic has done.
Very nice. Now I'll start you off with an easy one.
Okay.
Uh, 1 second, sir. The advertisements have to play out, of course. Who has the NBA's most assists? Who holds the most assists in the NBA?
Most assists in NBA history.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna answer them quick so people don't think I'm googling them or anything. I'll
Right.
say John Stockton is my first gut answer.
That's a good answer. That's the correct answer. Who won the most career NBA championships as a player?
Bill Russell,
Very good. What team has the most NBA Finals appearances?
Celtics.
Oh, Minneapolis and Los Angeles Lakers with
Ah,
31.
that's
Who
right.
was?
They were the Minneapolis Lakers before. That's a tough one.
That's right. What team drafted Kobe Bryant?
Charlotte Hornets.
Very good. What is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's birth name?
Lou Alcindor.
Very good. What team had the most playoff appearances?
Celtics.
The Lakers. I just
Ah,
I just knew you was gonna get that.
that was
Okay.
the championship one. I don't like the Lakers. Clearly, I don't like the
Okay.
Lakers.
Who is the shortest player of all time?
Muggsy Bogues.
At 5'3". That's correct.
Baller.
What player has the most career points?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
At 38,387. That is correct. What team has the best record in one season?
The Warriors did better than the Bulls, right? Recently.
That's correct. The 2015-2016 season, they won 74 games. What player
Damn.
has the highest career three-point percentage?
Damn. I want to say like Dan Marley or Ray Allen. I don't know.
Good guess. Steve Kerr, 406
Oh,
and
Steve.
54. Yes. What player appeared in the most career NBA games?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Robert Parrish, 1,611. Now, you see,
Jesus. The
these
Chief.
are obscure questions. These are not geared towards like Seattle, where you're from, or anything. These are random questions.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you two more just so that you can break even. Because I believe your record is about 3-5 right now. So let's get you 5-5. What year did the Seattle Supersonics win the NBA championship?
1979?
78, 79. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. Okay. Who won the most who won the most NBA Finals MVPs?
Michael Jordan.
Very good at 6. So
Yeah.
you know your NBA. I wish you
Okay.
would have chose science or math or one of those academic ones, but maybe you'll come back and we'll do
Oh, absolutely.
some academic trivia because I really enjoy you, Mr. Peaceful Pender, and I think the Friday Night Live crew would love to have you on as well. Have you ever seen the shows?
I haven't. I'm gonna have to tap in now.
Please, HipHopCitizen. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We're gonna get 16 bars from you. Unfortunately,
Okay.
we have to wrap up quick. But I do have a question. You were discussing you and Mr. herself was discussing this area in Seattle where they have old cars and they play loud music and the women show up. What is that area?
So there's a couple places like drive-in type areas that you can pull up and have that type of experience. Um, yeah, Seattle has a couple cool things like that, where you can pull up classic cars. And so where I live, there's cul-de-sac kind of roundabout, and they pull up their classic cars. Lots of women, some barbecue. You know, you're right on the water. You got the boats, all that stuff. But there's a lot of money over here on the water at Lake Washington because of Amazon, Microsoft. I mean, Boeing. You got a lot of things. Costco. Lots of corporations out here, so lots of money.
Is Silicon Valley really in Seattle?
Silicon Valley 2.0, no doubt. No doubt.
I Now I'm gonna show you a car here. I want to know if this car could come down to that area out there in Seattle. Dialect, please show Mr. Pender that car. I want to know if this car could make it to that area there. Dialect, you with us? Okay, yes. You see this car here? It's a 1999
Yes.
Mercury. Could this car pull up in that area?
Yeah, this car could pull up. This car could pull up.
All right, thank you. Oh, I got one quick science question for you. What is the closest planet to the sun?
What's the closest planet to the sun?
Yes,
Venus.
Mercury. I thought you would get
Mercury?
it. Yes, Mercury.
Mercury's closer? Oh, yeah,
Yes,
Mercury's
sir.
like on fire. Mercury,
That's correct.
Venus, Mars, Earth. There you go.
Mr. Pender, can you please bless my audience, all three of them, with 16 of your fantastic bars, please?
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you some bars, but first I gotta say I really enjoyed my time with you, David. You got a great energy about you, and I could even feel that through the phone. So thank you for being gracious host,
Thank
asking
you.
me great questions, and prodding me a little bit at the beginning to get me going. You know, sometimes it's hard to open up. Sometimes I'm a little stiff. But 16 bars for you, okay? Check it. Surrounded by pretty women, I never swimming because I know that they spit in that venom. Want a jacket right out of my pocket like I was rocking some denim. Make me wonder what's in them. Like why they so obsessed with sinning. Why I'm so obsessed with winning. Why I step up in the building looking fresh as some linen. That just came up out the dry. I spit that shit that take you high. Yeah, I'm talking about your consciousness because all I spit is conscious shit. I went from not having a pot to piss to now I'm on this concert shit. Decisions come with consequence, so karma's so damn obvious. Do you get it yet? Multiple idiosyncrasies that cause an effect. You know how
Nice.
it goes. I could keep going. You know how it goes.
You see, the reason why I normally have people, the MCs that we interview on Friday Night Live, you are the first. I like to let you know you are the premier guest on the David Simon Show. I'm 4 weeks into this, and you're the first person that actually took the challenge on coming on the air with me. I thank you tremendously. But the reason why I asked MCs to do 16 is because we can't play their music. You understand? Copyrights, infringements, and all the rest of that. They want to toss us off. I've been tossed off several social medias for that reason. So I appreciate you spinning your bars. Now, tell the people the name of your album, Trapeze Artist. How can they get to it, and what is the single off of it?
Yeah, so the album's name is Trapeze Artist. The word trap, piece, and then artist, all one word. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, all major streaming platforms. You can even listen to it on SoundCloud and YouTube. The lead single's name is Come Up. There's music video out for that. There's actually 2 or 3 music videos out off the album. Come Up's at almost 100K on Spotify. There's a pretty big presence on there. Lots of good things happening. Got to tap in. I'm dropping more music. I got new singles coming out on the 14th and the 21st of this month. Just steady dropping, giving the people, lots of content, and got some big collabs coming out too. Got a song with Jay Critch, if people like bigger artists, that you can find on Apple Music called Anarchy. Got another song with Dax, who's a pretty big independent artist, Make America Great Again, the one that we talked about. So if you want to listen to some mainstream guys, we got that too.
So Jay Critch is from New York.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn.
So did he fly out to Seattle, or you flew into Brooklyn?
No, so how that worked is I was cool with the A&R over at Rich Forever. We were in talks for a little while, and I ended up just getting blessed with something from Critch. that he wasn't gonna end up using. So we made something together, and that was all just done in the studio. I'm not gonna cap with you and act like I went to New York or he came here.
No, no, no. You're honest, and if you would have told me that that's what occurred, I would have believed you. So
Yeah.
I thank you for being real with me, keeping it real, Mr. Pender. Peace.
Hey, you can sense
Peace
that,
for Pender.
man. You can sense that on people.
What does Pender stand for? What does it mean?
Pender's just my last name. I wanted to be real.
Fantastic.
My dad used to always tell me, make sure you represent the family name well.
And so Pender is the name of your father, that the baseball player.
Yeah.
I'll be looking up his stats.
Chris Pender. He's a bum in the minor leagues. He'll tell you, but it's cool. He tried.
God bless Mr. Chris Pender. And until we meet again, Peaceful Pender, enjoy your life and be cool.
Absolutely, same to you, and I'd love to be back.
Thank you, sir. You definitely got that invitation.
Peace and love, David.
All right, sir. Take care. Peaceful Pender, ladies and gentlemen. He was tremendous. He was a nice young man. He's well schooled, very intellectual. The first guest, as a first guest, he was tremendous. He was great, and I appreciate that. I wish he would have chose science, but hey, sports is good. And maybe next time we get him on the sports trivia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's past 11 already. I thank you if you joined me. And if you haven't, maybe you'll enjoy it in the rerun or I don't even know what they call it, the rebroadcast on Facebook. You can find HipHopCitizen David Simon Show on Facebook all the time, every time. Until we meet again, which will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Rick Ross versus 2 Chainz. HipHopCitizen bringing that to you live on YouTube, Facebook, and Ustream. Oh, no, excuse me. StreamYard. Everything's a U. And Friday Night Live. I don't know. Dialect, do you have a guest for Friday Night Live? Or ready to go or not? Oh, Pro Lyrical. Supposed to be a spectacular show. Supposed to be as highly intelligent as our previous guest, on Peaceful Pender. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the versus battle. And next week we'll do it again. Be good, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't be good at being bad. Thank you.